Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another client makeup tutorial. So this one is a nude full glam look with some glossy red lips. So I really hope you enjoy. So to start with, I'm brushing up the brows with a spoolie, and then I'm priming the lid with the Plouise base as always. This one is in the shade 3. This is my favourite shade to use on most clients because it's a little bit warmer than the shade 2. So I'm packing that all over the lid and up to the brow bone, and then also taking a fluffy brush and blending out the edges and then just buffing over the whole lid to make sure there's no creases. And for this look I wanted to do more of a defined brow, so I did use the flat brush all the way up to the brow to underline. And then I'm taking the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and this one is in the shade Chai, and I'm packing that on the outer corner of the eye and taking it out towards the temple. So this just really adds to the sculpted contour look that I'm going for. And then I'm just taking a clean brush and blending out the edges. This acts as a good base for your shadow as well, so if you want that kind of blown out look, this is something that I would really recommend doing. For eyeshadow today, I'm taking the Bperfect and JA Makeup Artist Clientele palette. So I'm taking the shade Dirty Tan, and I'm just packing that on the outer corner of the eye and then blending it into the crease. I'm really keeping this just on the outer half of the eye because I want the inner half to be nice and clear, but I'm just blending this out. And then I'm going to wing it out slightly towards the temple, but only once I've actually built up that original shape. I don't want it too dark, but yeah, I'm really packing this on. Then taking a fluffier brush and the shade Sandy and just blending out the edges of that dirty tan shade, and also taking it in towards the inner corner just so there's a little bit of colour there. For the lid shade, I'm taking the shade Ashaa, which is a lighter peachy nude shade, and I'm just packing that all over the inner half of the eye, and then I'm going back in with that dirty tan shade just to blend those two together so it looks like a nice seamless blend. For liner, I didn't want anything too harsh, so I decided to go in with a brown pencil. This one is the shade Memphis from Peaches and Creme. So I'm just blending this all over the upper lash line and also winging it out slightly. And then I'm taking a small sort of fluffier liner brush and then just blending out those edges. So I do want it to look nice and smoky, not too defined. And yeah, as I said, I'm taking it out towards the edge there just to make it slightly winged. It doesn't need to be too sharp or precise. As I said, it is a nice smoky liner. And then with Kira's eyes open, I'm just re-intensifying that wing just to build it up slightly, make sure it's even on both sides. And then I'm taking the same flat liner brush that I used to apply the base and just sharpen that up a little bit. Then I'm just setting that in place with a brown shadow. This one is the shade Too Much, also from the Clientele palette. Then I'm just applying a little bit of mascara to the upper lashes. Now for some skin prep, I'm taking the Henriksen Banana Bright Eye Cream and just applying that under the eyes. So I'm blending it out with my ring finger. And then for the actual base, I'm taking the Glossier Future Dew and just applying that all over the skin. I love this as a skin prep before makeup. I think it just leaves the skin looking beautiful. Foundation applies amazing on top.
Some kind of bladder infection. I don't know.
Go cut the nose.
I'll order you some cranberry juice. Psycho, you're the best.
Not with your sniffy there, wait. If you're going to sneeze him, she's doing I thought, fucking hell, she's going to sneeze right in my face.
Alright, so Hank is going to come down here and
She
let
went,
us all out.
You did?
We should all make sure to give him a big tip this Christmas.
Sorry, jokes,
I
man.
don't think I tipped him for last year's.
No, neither did I. Jim was supposed to collect it.
Got scared for my life.
Waiting.
Here she blows!
Okay, so back to makeup, I'm just applying some lashes, and these are from by Robyn and they are in the style Ruby. So these are a bit more winged out, really full glam lashes that are just so fluffy and beautiful. I'm obsessed with them. And when you're doing a wing, it's better to angle your lashes up a little bit to follow that wing shape to really make the lashes and the liner all go nicely together. And back to the skin, I'm taking the Nars All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation in the shade Barcelona. Unfortunately this foundation is actually discontinued now. I had actually just bought this before like filming this video. This is the first time I'd ever used it and I really fell in love, but sadly it is discontinued unfortunately. But I will try and find something else that is similar. So I'm just applying that all over the face, being really careful around the hairline so that the roots of Kira's hair doesn't go all like filled with foundation. And then for contour, I'm going back in with the Too Faced Born This Way Sculpting Concealer in the shade Chai, and just applying that to the cheekbones and the temples and foreheads. So this is where it really comes into play, applying this before you do your eyeshadow, because it really just makes it so much easier. It connects it all together, make the face look more sculpted. But yeah, I do use this as bronzing as well, so that's why I do like something a little bit warmer. But yeah, so I'm just applying that to the cheekbones and blending it out. I do prefer to do cream contour before concealer, because I think it's just easier to clean up with concealer than it is to try and be really careful with your contour. But yes, I'm just applying a little bit, blending it out, going back in with the foundation brush to make sure it's all seamlessly blended, and yeah, just going back and forth in between the two brushes. I just find that makes it more flawless. For concealer, I'm taking the Tarte Shape Tape, and this one is in the shade Light Medium Sand. So I'm applying a little bit under the inner corner of the eye, and then the outer corner towards the temple, and then a little bit on the chin and forehead, and then just blending that together. So for the chin and the forehead, I do just blend it in with the foundation brush, and then for the under eye, I do take a smaller, like fluffier brush. This one is by Morphe. I do really enjoy this brush for concealer, and I'm just applying that to the inner corner and blending that out first, and then taking it down the sides of the nose. So instead of doing a cream contour on the nose, today I decided to do sort of a reverse contour with some concealer, so just really highlighting those edges and blending it all together, being really careful where I apply the cream contour on the temples to make sure that isn't disturbed too much. But yeah, going in amongst these two brushes, concealer and foundation, and just make sure everything is seamlessly blended. And then I'm setting that in place with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and this one is in the shade 1. For bronzer, I'm taking the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Tan, and just basically setting everywhere that I put that cream contour.
I think I'm wrong, and if you don't like it, you can leave. And I say the same thing to my current wife, and I'll say it to my next one too.
Jim is in charge of standing only in sales related matters. Hence the green line.
Okay, so to finish up the under eye, I'm taking the shade Dark Tan again on a smaller fluffier brush, and just running that under the lower lash line. For blush, I'm taking the Jordana Tisha blusher in the shade Fruit Punch, and just applying that to the cheeks and blending it in towards that bronzer. For highlight, as usual, I'm taking the Doll Beauty highlighter in the shade Shine Bright. This is such a gorgeous shade, it looks brilliant on everyone, I just love it. For brows, I'm just taking a wipe and wiping those brows clear of any products, foundation, things that might have been in there. And then I'm taking the Pink Honey Cola Cubes Honey Glue and just applying that to Kira's brows. I really love this brow glue. I don't push the brows down so they don't have that full laminated effect, but it does keep them in place all day and make sure they look beautiful and fluffy.
Okay, girl. Got a glossy dude.
Alright, you don't expect me.
For lips, I'm taking the MAC lip liner in the shade Red, and with lip liner you do always have to be very careful, especially with a red lip. So I'm starting with the outer edge and just overlining slightly, not too much. I know you can overline a lot with nude and kind of get away with it, but red's a little bit harder. So I'm just overlining ever so slightly, and then for the outer corners I'm just doing a little bit of a thicker line so that it's easier to apply my lipstick. For the lipstick, I'm taking the, again it's from MAC, but it's the shade Lady Danger, and this is my favourite of their red lips. It's sort of warm tone, but it isn't too orangey. I think it's just the perfect shade. So I'm just applying that to Kira's lips and being very careful. Then I'm applying some mascara to the lower lash line. And back to lips, I decided to go for a glossy look today. So this is the MAC and Tiana Taylor collection. So it's the lip gloss in the shade 10s across the board, which is a gorgeous deep red shades. And then to finish it off, I'm applying the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray as usual, and this is the finished look. So really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!